saw an adorable video on Facebook the other day of a dog owner who, not a dog owner, a dog parent. I know there are many people who don't see their dogs as possessions or their cats as possessions, but rather as part of the family. And so that would make them dog parents, not dog owners. So excuse me if that offended you. Anyway, this particular individual had several furry children, and her furry children had apparently gotten into the garbage while she was gone to work or away from the house. And when she came in, it was an absolute mess. And as she saw the mess all over the house, she went to each one of them and asked them on camera, "Did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this?" What do you think was the outcome of that? See, what's the right word? Inquisition. What do you think was the outcome of the inquisition of all of the different dogs when the garbage was strewn all throughout the house? Welcome to Leading Leaders Podcast. 5-minute videos, 5 days a week. I'm Jay Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast. Well, the truth is, each of the dogs reacted in a different way. A couple of them kind of looked at her with their tails wagging like, "I don't understand the question. Well, what is it? You're going to pet me, right? Do you have a treat for me? Or do you have a snack for me? Do we get to go outside? Is it time for a walk?" But the other two, actually, one of them cowered under the couch with nothing but her little tail sticking out. And the other one ran through the house with a box on his head. I think the culprits are easy to detect, even without a whole judicial inquiry or anything like that. But see, the truth of the matter is, as leaders, one of our hardest roles, the hardest job we have, is finding the truth. Finding the truth in an activity that's gone awry, finding the truth in a business or a marketing adventure, finding the truth in how do we create this next consumer product line or sell this next set of stuff, whether it's a service or a product. But it's also hard sometimes to find the truth in relationships, the truth in conversations. Now, if you've ever been raised with a sibling, or if you are a sibling, or if you're a parent who has more than one child, you've had a very similar experience to what the dogs went through. You've probably experienced that moment that someone came forward and said, "So-and-so did that." And that blame was instantly shifted to an individual assigned the responsibility for whatever went wrong. And what happens for most human beings in that stance, in that place, is that the person hearing the information, the leader, the parent, the adjudicator of whatever level, has to discern, am I being told the truth or am I being told a lie? And here's what happens most often. The first person to say it is believed to be true. The person who says it the most often is believed to be true. The person who says it for the longest period of time is believed to be true. And because that psychology has kind of seeped into our everyday society, we get it from traffic accidents to speeding tickets. I didn't see the speed limit sign, and the officer might say, "But I was parked under the speed limit sign. If you saw me, you saw the sign." Yeah, it doesn't matter, right? You're still getting the ticket. No, it doesn't matter how long you argue that you never saw the sign, that the sign should have been more visible, that there were things obstructing the sign, whether it was a tree limb or not enough light. It doesn't really matter. The law is the law, and you violated it. Arguing it isn't necessarily going to win, but there are many cases where telling a lie, the bigger the lie, the more likely people are to believe it. Why? Because they think, well, you certainly wouldn't have made that up. I mean, landing on the moon? Humans on the moon? We couldn't have made that up. It has to be true. I mean, it has to be true, right? See, that's the kind of stuff that as leaders we have to deal with on a regular basis. Big, fat, juicy lies sometimes are easier to believe than silly little truths that don't make any sense. I was talking with someone yesterday who told me that one of the clients that she visited with had a giant scar around his arm. At one point, he had actually lost his arm, and they were able, believe it or not, to reattach it because it fell off in the snow, and so it was instantly frozen, and they were able to put it back, and a dozen years later, it started working again. But when people see the scar, and they're like, "What happened to your arm?" He said, "I usually tell them one of two stories. One is that I was attacked and it was chopped off and I was able to put it back. The other is that I was attacked by sharks. Believe it or not, more people believe the shark story. That he was attacked by a shark, the shark bit his arm off, he snatched the arm away from the shark, hit the shark in the nose with the arm, and the shark left, and he was able to sew it back on. More people believe that story than believe the other story, or the one that's actually true, that he was operating a crane, and when he opened the door, the crane malfunctioned and fell on his arm. See, sometimes the big fat lie is either easier to believe or it's closer to what we want to believe than is the truth. And a lie, told often enough, told long enough, becomes accepted as the truth, even if it's not the truth. As leaders, our primary role in dealing with lies and truth is to be persistent enough and diligent enough to get to the truth. Because without the truth, there is no justice. Without the truth, there is no fairness. Without the truth, opportunity begins to vanish. I'm Jay Lauren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast for Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day. Subscribe now for our extensive video library of leadership lessons promoting faith, family, and freedom.